Hello, everyone. Today we are going to review the steps of the scientific method and discuss how a zoologist might use the scientific method. So, I'd like to begin by saying that in zoology, there is a lot of observational research. Um, if you are a field zoologist, you will go out there and you'll document and record your observations of lots of different animal species. Observation is important in a lot of biology fields, but definitely in zoology. So the scientific method uses what is called the hypothetical deductive method, which basically you create a hypothesis to potentially answer questions you might have about animals. Hypotheses may predict future observations or be falsified, in which case you would need to revise your hypothesis and make new observations and conduct new experiments. So, hypotheses are potential answers to questions being asked. They are derived from prior observations of nature or from theories based on those observations. And they are very general statements about nature that may explain a large number of diverse observations. And we'll talk some more about this further in this presentation. So after you make a hypothesis, you make a prediction and an experiment. And experiments always have at least two groups. You have your experimental group or your control group. Experiments, they test the effects of a manipulated or independent variable on a responding variable. After you collect data and analyze that data, you can make conclusions as to whether to accept or reject the original hypothesis. Good experimental predictions include a statement about your manipulated and responding variables and your hypothesis or reasoning. The manipulated variable is the variable that the researcher changes in an experiment. This is what you purposely change, what you do differently between different groups of animals. The responding variable is what you measure, or the effect of what you did. Hypotheses need to include the manipulated and responding variables. They also need to include reasoning for why. This is that general statement about nature, the reasoning for why you would expect certain results. And the best way to do this is with an if then because statement. Here is an example prediction and hypothesis. If I take this sentence, if I give a monkey a banana, he will be calm because he is hungry. The banana is the manipulated variable because it's what I am doing as the researcher to cause a change in the monkey's behavior. The change in behavior is that the monkey will relax and be calm because of the banana. It's the effect of feeding the monkey. And then my because statement is why I think this will happen. And if I think that the monkey is hungry or hangry in this case, I need to include some reasoning. And this is really the hypothesis part, that general statement about nature. So here I have some more hypotheses. We'll do one or two examples together, and then in the Edpuzzle video, some questions will pop up. I'm going to have you identify the independent or manipulated variable, responding variable, and the hypothesis. So if I remove starfish, which are predators, from an area, then its prey populations will increase because predators limit the size of the population size of their prey. Um, Removing the starfish would be the manipulated variable or the independent variable, because this is what I did as a researcher. The response to that change is its prey population will increase. And then I have a general statement about nature. Just predators limit the population size of their prey. My if, then, and because statement. The next question I have, if I ring a bell, dogs will drool because the dog has been trained to associate the sound of the bell with food. This is what I did. Rang some bells. I think that the dogs will drool. So ringing the bell is the manipulated variable. Seeing the effect it has on the dogs is the dependent variable, and then my reasoning for why that is the general statement. This is Pavlov's famous experiment that he did with dogs. This sentence, the third one, is similar. However, we just sort of changed the if, then, and because to different parts of the sentence. So here's my very general statement. If salmon rely on sight to find their native streams to spawn, so I think that salmon rely on sight. That's my general statement about salmon. If salmon are blindfolded, they will not be able to find their native streams. So what I do to the salmon is I blindfold them, and then the effect is that they are not able to find their streams. Blindfolding the salmon is the independent variable or the manipulated variable, and whether or not the salmon can find their native streams is the responding or dependent variable. So here is one example where I want you to identify the manipulated variable, the dependent variable, and the responding variable. If I lower the temperature, a reptile will seek out a warm place because reptiles are ectothermic and their body temperature changes based on the environment. A question will pop up on Edpuzzle, and I'd like you to please type your responses and turn it in. When we meet in class, we are going to look at some trail camera data from Gorongosa National Park in Mozambique in order to make some observations, find some patterns, generate questions, and test hypotheses.